Board of Planning Commission meeting for September 11th, 2023 at 7:05 p.m. Quick roll call. Commissioner Diaz.
Okay.
Commissioner White. Present. Commissioner Walker. Present. Commissioner Anderson.
Present.
You have a quorum, 5-0. According to the bylaws, down in Dumfries, we can enact any business for the town. The adoption of the agenda, the agenda should be in front of everyone. A quick vote for the adoption of the agenda. Commissioner Vital. Approved. Commissioner Walker. Approved. Commissioner Diaz.
Approved.
Question.
Approved.
The agenda has been adopted 5-0. Approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. Point of issue, the minutes for the previous meeting are not included in our packet. So staff turnover, we missed that. I will actually get that to the town staff later this week. So we're gonna not vote on the approval of the previous minutes meeting. The issue for that. All right. Next, we're gonna introduction of the item on the agenda. Looks like we have two items that are on the agenda. I'm gonna give the presentation to town staff for
that. Good evening, Chair, and we have a visitor. Good evening, Chair and members of the Commission. My name is Reggie Tabor, and I'm the newly appointed Director of Planning and Community Development for the wonderful town of Dumfries. And I look forward to working with you and serving as staff for the Commission. The first item, action item on the agenda that we have this evening is a draft zoning text amendment. And on September 5th, 2023, the town of Dumfries Town Council adopted a resolution to initiate zoning text amendments to Chapter 70, Article 1 and 5 of the zoning code. The proposed amendment aims to address a specific situation where legal non-conforming billboard signs are impacted by eminent domain actions, allowing their relocation to a nearby location as practicable. And generally, this is related to the major improvements or construction work that's proposed for Route 1 and Main Street. And there will necessarily be an expansion of the right-of-way. And within the right-of-way, there are some billboards that will be impacted, and those billboards will have to be moved. Currently, the code does not considers billboards as non-conforming uses, and per the code, non-conforming uses cannot be modified or moved. This zoning text amendment would allow for such billboards to be moved on the same parcel that they are currently located. I'm happy to, and it would also allow us to conform with state code as well. I'm happy to respond to any questions.
Okay. Well, what I want to do is we'll do both, and we'll open it up for public hearing, and then we'll ask questions for that. Any issues? Okay. You go ahead and go with your second.
Okay, great. So also during the September 5th town council meeting, the council referred an item, draft zoning text amendment to the Planning Commission, and the draft language is provided in your packet. Currently within the code, temporary roadside food vendors within the town of Dumfries are permitted in accordance with the town's current code of ordinances, Chapter 70, with regulations including the following. Overnight parking of the food vending units and employee parking is prohibited. Signs, trash receptacles, debris of any indicia of the vending business are prohibited to remain overnight and shall be removed from the permitted site each day. Third, a signed lease and rental agreement may not replace required written approval of the owner of the property and the written approval of the owner of the property shall be obtained in advance of obtaining any permits under this section. Number 4, no restrooms shall be provided for customers or the general public. Number 5, vendors are limited to no more than 5 employees. 6, no permanent structures of any kind shall be allowed. And 7, no seating for customers shall be provided. Only carry-out food will be permitted. The proposed code amendments would remove these regulations, except for regulation number 2, where it would remove the signs stipulation. Staff has researched and provided in your packet information about related code sections in area jurisdictions for your consideration. And staff ultimately recommends that the Planning Commission table this item until the October 16th, 2023 Planning Commission meeting and considers this proposed text amendment following review and comment by the town's legal counsel and adequate consideration of the Code of the Commonwealth of Virginia. I'm happy to respond to any questions.
Thank you. What I need to do now is open it up for public hearing. Getting looking at public hearing at 7:15. So, and for that, I want to open up any questions for both of the zoning amendments. Any questions that we have, starting with Commissioner Biden. Any questions for you?
No questions, and I may have more to add on October 16th when we table the second zoning amendment. Okay, Commissioner Porter, any questions?
The first one appears to be written to the benefit of residents of business owners. But I don't see a reason to pull the thread on that much more. Is there any negatives to other businesses? I noticed there were 2 of 4 signs that are affected. Are the other 2 signs okay? The business owners are all right?
To my knowledge, yes, and to my knowledge, those billboards will not be impacted by the proposed taking and eminent domain.
Got it. All right. Commissioner Diaz, any questions or comments, ma'am?
No, that is fine.
Question Richardson?
Okay, yeah, on the first item, so the relocation, that's pretty much cut and dry, but as in that relocation, is there new design being considered, or is it just move to another spot?
So thank you for asking that question. So this would only relate to the the movement of the signs. If there is a request for changing the sign in any other way, that would have to be another text amendment and brought back to the Planning Commission for consideration and ultimately the Town Council.
Okay. And as far as the second one, in relation to temporary usage or temporary vendor, so is it being considered that, so I don't know what's coming in October, what's all have to be discussed, but when I read this, temporary is temporary, and I deal with a lot of temporary and permanent structures. And I really see no problem with the ordinance as it is, but I'm curious to see what's happening, what's being proposed. Because for me, I've noticed other temporary vendors that I'm not even sure if they are supposed to be parked in town. And that's a concern for me, because I don't want to see multiple vehicles or temporary structures or whatever it is. If it's not in the ordinance, I'm not in agreement with it. So I like it the way it is, but I'm curious to see, what changes is going to be made.
Only question I have is, do we know how many temporary food vendors that we have licensed to do business in town?
Currently, I do not, and we will make sure that we bring that back.
That'd be one of the questions I
Mhm.
look forward to. For the next meeting. You said the next one is on the 16th, or is that on the 9th?
It's the 16th. Yes, the 9th, I believe, is a holiday.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So we're proposed public hearing at 7:20. And open forum for any of the commissioners before we go to vote, because we're going to vote at the same time. For open forum. Any other additional comments or questions, Commissioner Biden?
Collins, welcome you, Randy. Public board order.
Thank you.
Commissioner Borka? Commissioner Diaz? Vice Chairman Nicholson?
No further comment at this time. And congratulations and welcome aboard.
Thank you very much. And I echo those same sentiments in the board here. Well, and we're going to vote. First vote will be on CTA 23-002, and that's for the bill boards. And the vote will be to recommend for approval to town council. Calling for the vote, Commissioner Biden. Approved. Commissioner Borka. Approved. Commissioner Diaz.
Approved.
Vice Chairman Nicholson. Approved. And I approve 5-0 vote to advance that to the planning commission. I'm sorry, to the town council. The second vote, ETA 23-003, we're gonna propose to table that until October 16th meeting. Anybody have any issue with that vote? Commissioner Diaz? Commissioner White? Approved. Commissioner Borka? Approved. Vice Chairman Nicholson? Approved. And I approve that as well. It will be tabled to October 16th, next planning commission meeting, 2023. So we'll put a hold on that. Anything else from town staff?
So yes, I do have one.
Okay.
Under announcements, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay, great. Thank you. So the town council is in the process of selecting and potentially engaging with a consultant to help with the update of the comprehensive plan. And we have the option, if you will, of having the process of shepherding the update being led by the Planning Commission, and state code provides that the Planning Commission would oversee the comprehensive plan for each jurisdiction in the Commonwealth. Another option is to alternatively ask town council to appoint an advisory committee. And I think that's the process that's been used in larger jurisdictions where, planning commissions may not have the time to be actively engaged in that process. So I guess a question is whether or not the planning commission has a preference with regard to that process and your engagement, whether or not you feel you have the time to be engaged and to help to shepherd the process.
I don't want to put anybody on the spot and give you an answer right now, so that'll be something that we can talk through at our next.
Okay,
meeting. So
sure.
Give everybody a chance to digest that.
Mhm.
We'll let you know at our next meeting.
Okay, and between now and then too, I will endeavor to provide time commitments that may be required, the number of meetings and the process. We will have that by that time as well.
Anything else? All right. That's all that we have on the agenda for today. You want to make a motion to adjourn? One second.
I'll second.
All right, quick vote. Commissioner Diaz, vote to adjourn.
Approved.
Commissioner Biden, approved. Commissioner Walker, approved. Vice Chairman Nickerson,
Approved.
I approve. The meeting has been adjourned at 7:25.